the defending champs.
Oh.
That's quite the interesting ban there. Zofia removed from action as we now get underway with our 4th Oregon matchup of the day. We hope you like the Pacific Northwest.
Because
Even though, have you ever actually like looked around at like the scenery of Oregon? It does not look like it's set in the Pacific Northwest. It looks like it's set in Waco. I wonder why. Because it almost seems like it was based off of Waco, Texas. I'm no geographer.
No, that's the fault. You play GeoGuessr all the time, so you kind of are, actually.
I'm actually platinum in GeoGuessr.
That's so sweaty. What? I'm actually plat ranking, guessing areas in the world.
So people will say, "Oh, you're just a gold." Not in GeoGuessr, I'm not. Checkmate.
All right.
Don't know if we're gonna have a rehost here.
Nah, we gotta play the
Apparently
round.
somebody crashed. Who knows? Let's talk about the operator bans.
Well, we had a little bit of a Flores Valkyrie from the side of Astralis and a Sophia, which is very peculiar because normally when you ban an LMG operator, you ban out the finger. So the Sophia ban is very specific in this case. That's going to go out from SSG and followed up by the Wamaya. We're actually going to jump into a quick rehost, it
Called
seems. You did call it.
Called it.
And honestly, better to do it now than before we get into the action so we can get off. Safe by the bell. Hey.
Bamboozled. I honestly don't know. First defense for Spacestation. Downstairs, laundry, supply room. The 2 bomb sites that you're going to see most frequently here will be on the basement, laundry, supply room, and then back up top on the double dorm bomb
They
site.
got a Rooney and they got the Jaeger. I was not half wrong. Just, you know.
I should hope with all of the experience that you have that you would not be wrong. But who am I?
Everyone is wrong once in a while, Parker.
That's correct.
Everybody's wrong. Unless you're Fabian. You're never wrong.
Okay.
Fabian's...
He likes to think he's never wrong.
Have you seen the UL desk when he's there sometimes? And he's like...
I try not to.
Okay, well, I'll tell you that he kind of uses his position to kind of talk bad about other teams and then say, but I could make them better if I joined their team, kind of vibe, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Is that fair? To utilize your position? Would you do that, Parker? Would you try and get on a team like that? Or do you feel like you just don't have a chance to join a team like that?
Are you seriously asking me if...
You could be a player if you try.
I don't think we need to go through this again.
All right, whatever.
30 seconds into action. First, EE1D is burned. Take a look at the lineup on the right side of your screen. Lion, Ash, Nook, and Finka. This is a strange one. We don't see Ash as frequently as we used to.
Well, Sophia ban might target that. You want that soft explosion in the basement. And of course, that's a bit of a substitute from Sophia. But a worse one at that, because you don't get the LMG, don't get the stun, so it is clear. It's okay.
I mean, Ash is not exactly the best substitute for Zofia, but she works in a pinch. The two used to be almost interchangeable at one point in the meta.
That's true. Oh my god. It's a long time ago, actually.
Very long time ago.
Now we got Finka instead.
Anywho. It's the first can opener, the secondary soft destruction or hard destruction gadget that gets brought. You can see that Astralis are absent a traditional hard breacher. A lot of teams will run one of 3 operators who have access to that secondary hard breach gadget. And Iconic starts things off. A good game from him is what you said is needed for Astralis to prevail. A nade goes out and it destroys full. Space Station suffering the first casualty of the round and of the match.
And it's early because now they got all 2 hatches opened up and they got the opening kill. It's only a minute and 30 into the round. That's a great start. Now Astralis can take it a little bit slower because they got that advantage, right? They don't want to throw that away. Of course, Bosco is on smoke. You do have some traps from the Thorn that they can slow you down as well. But overall, Astralis have a ton of time to work with. Now, there's a Rooney Gate on Blue Double Door. They only have 1 flashbang left to really clear it efficiently. So that is going to be a bit of an issue. But at the same time, that's not the main push because Iconic, he's on site.
Oh my goodness, LMG in hand, tearing right through them. Rampy the first kill for Space Station, but that's all that SSG is able to get up to this point. Unless Bosco can do something about it. No, Iconic, the king himself, finds 3. And the last one for good measure. Astralis take round number 1, and that is bad for SSG. They lose 1 more round, and they are out skis. That's it.
That's a rough... I mean, Iconic literally just walked in from bottom laundry stairs and got well, he got 2 kills, got a nade kill earlier, so sitting on 3 already, and it was an off kind of beat push because SSG, they weren't expecting it, and no one else, like anywhere else on the map, really applied too much pressure. So a really, really good push, or opportunity rather, seen from Astralis. They took advantage, it worked out, and already now we're gonna see that secondary bomb set of Kid Storm defense because we're not gonna go back to the basement after what just happened. That was way too difficult to deal with. So instead, a rather similar lineup being brought here. Of course, the Mute to deny the walls, and Ward in case of any smoke grenades or Ying Candela usage, which J9O, he has a Tagger repick currently onto that Ying operator. So both teams kind of reading well into the situation of what the other team might do.
Well, rough spot to be in for if you're Space Station. You have such a small window of opportunity to make it to Berlin. SSG have not had the best result at international events over the last calendar year.
No,
you think,
not quite.
Yeah, you think back on it, and it was...
The furthest they go is quarters.
Yeah, they cannot seem to break out of that 8th place hump, which I get it. Like, you can't get over that hump. It's not exactly a bad result. I mean, if you consistently told me that you were a top... I think we talked about this on a previous broadcast. If you consistently told me that, you know, we're going to finish top 8, that's great.
That is good.
You, out of every single team in the world, statistically, you are the 8th best team. At worst, obviously, because there's 4 of you that are going to finish 8th.
True.
You are statistically the 8th best team. That is actually great. But for these players and for these organizations, and for, frankly, the roster that Space Station has, 8th is not good enough. So they need to make it there. SSG did not make it to Charlotte. They didn't have the best performance at SI in Stockholm, and now it doesn't look like they're going to make it either unless a miracle can happen over the next 7 rounds.
That is true, but anything is, of course, possible. Slow start once again as teams are taking their time, not really trying to get too aggressive on these engagements. Aggressive style here from SSG, opting for that trophy kind of master bedroom contestation, but they're going to peel off as those shields start falling off and their protected areas start becoming vulnerable. Astralis, they are applying pressure from 2 sides right now. Master bedroom balcony and big tower as well. So they are choosing right now where they want to strike from, because currently SSG can only guess where that's going to be, because you're opening up all these windows, applying this pressure, opening up attic wall. Now you're going small tower to go below kitchen for verticality, possibly. Astralis are really just trying to apply pressure from every angle possible.
A bomb has been located.
A multi-pronged approach, some would say here, Nick. Look at the lineup from Astralis again. Hard breacher list. Can opener being brought from the Ying. Already both have been used. They had them on the hands of the Nook last time around. So I like what's being brought from Astralis. 1 minute to go. Not a single casualty. Not a single death. Not even a little bit of action. In fact, a little bit of a boring round.
Oh, it's about to go fast very soon. Just wait. Iconic goes in bottom white. You got Candela's out. Smokes, you go in 10 seconds time. It's going to be chaos.
But look at Fultz from below. He's going to be Kingmaker. Down goes Hot and Cold. Trying to defend towards big window. Fultz is still waiting for the vault on it, and there it is. A shotgun blast takes out J9O. Bosco credited with the kill. Another from Astralis will come on in. It's Bosco down as Astralis continues to find their marks. Iconic lets one slip by, but he's got other avenues if he needs to deal with them. Shot through the wall, gives himself a relatively easy death at the hands of Skies. While the diffuser is down, SSG are in some serious trouble. It's all left onto the shoulders of Rampy in a 1v3. This is it. This is your trip to Berlin. Rampy, can you clutch it out and win for your team? Or is that it for this stage? He's got a beat on them. Swings on, but no, that's it for Space Station's chances. 2-0 for Astralis. Bye-bye, Berlin. It's now down to 2 teams. Astralis will fight for their lives. We have succeeded. We have succeeded. Space Station unsuccessful on their 2 rounds, and because of that, their major chances are gone. So now they will play Spoiler.
Spoiler.
To see if they can actually knock out Astralis. Now, it's not exactly an easy task. They just shut down AST, or Astralis goes to the major. The last 2 teams fighting for the spot. Astralis and Dark Zero, in case you weren't paying attention during that break.
Yup. We see the roam set up here. We saw this earlier as well from
What's that? What's that? Yup.
Yup.
Yup. What is that?
Yup, dude.
5 seconds to
I'm just gonna say, I like this from SSG Parker, okay? I'm like, yep, like it. Cast barricades, keep the barriers to deny lines of sight and make the attacking life a lot harder. But look at this lineup and look where Astralis are spawning. Backside on construction with a Maro going in big tower, you can assume. Meaning that we're going for a backside take, baby. And it's going to be Forest on the Nook. Bit of an interesting one here in Oregon basement because there's only really one way into sight. That's down a staircase. Of course, there are multiple of those, but still, we go in and we get taken down because Rampy is there. Either no drone from Astralis or they knew there was a guy there, but just did not care. And that's going to cost you because that means you're playing with one man down. Forest, you're dead too.
Oh, Foltz on the roam. Takes him down, as you said. Goodbye to Forest. Astralis, much better entry on the first 2 rounds. Space Station finding this 5th gear at probably the worst time possible after having just watched their stage go up in smoke. Still, well off-site. Both Skies and Foltz playing together by small tower. There's a player in. Look at this. Wrong side, though. Instead, we'll break the door.
No way.
There's no way Iconic doesn't drone this out. A grenade goes in. J90 with 1. The follow-up not there. Skies was still down below, as far as I'm aware. Will they hold this angle, or will they retreat? This is a laundry supply defense. By the way, this is the basement, Nick, and all the action is happening by small tower. Very similar to what we saw out of the first Oregon match that you and I casted earlier in the day of DZ versus Mirage.
Yep. You're all right. We did see this earlier today, and it's a 4th Oregon game, so it's easy to get things mixed up at this point because, of course, teams, they do play differently, but you can only do so many things different when it comes to like the default setup, like where the jammers go, the barricades, the setup, etc. It all looks similar, but of course, every team has their own bit of flair. Ramby hiding in Armory, just waiting for the right opportunity, while the rest of his team, they hide on site. Because Astralis, well, it's the unknown shuttle, rather, just 2 members. They got to do all the work now. Droning, walking in, entering, trading, getting kills, and trying to clutch out this round for their team. And they have wandered across the entirety of the map at this point, and they're back where it all began, on the big tower side of things. Got a 50 seconds to work with. They got a nade, and that's about it. And that's going to be the 3, 2, 1, go kind of vibe here as they drop down the hatch. See what they can do. Not much, gets shut down, leaves shuttle in a 1 versus 4, has to get some damage in, but cannot find it. No, from 11 has got pistol secondary now because Sledge got nerfed. He's gonna get taken out. Honeycole claps and says, good job, boys, good job.
Oh.
Yeah, it's getting personal over there.
He looks pissed, man.
Furious and angry. SSG are on the board, a little bit late for their liking, but they are on the board regardless, and they can still fight to win this.
Oh. Dorms again. First defense win by SSG under their belt on to the bottom floor bomb site, as you talked about. Teams living and dying off of the roam. 6-pick means that you can, or attacker repick, means that you can basically assemble your lineup to be the best counter to what you see on defense. That's why you see a lot of these teams on defense play so loose around the map, because just as W7M revolutionized in LATAM, the best team in LATAM, and dare I say it, honestly, probably one of the best teams in the world at the moment.
Yeah, supposedly it would be, yeah.
W7M basically took this trend and said, okay, well, we're going to play offense on defense. And it's worked out very effectively for them, and it's obviously working out for a lot of the teams in NAL who've emulated that. Space Station knows a thing or two about defining a meta on defense. The Clubhouse defense jumps to mind.
Yep.
In that previous round, SSG placed a lot of their pieces over towards dorms and inside of dining. They greeted the members of Astralis, who seemingly did not spawn in with drones.
No, it went in dry, and it did not work out. Did not have any information to work with. Ying being attacker repicked despite the Warden being on the board. And we've seen this big tower situation before. It was Canadian last time in the defense, holding on strong, and he got some good value out of Mirage. Skies, however, will just bail at the sound of that Ying weapon firing on all cylinders and give up big tower. So Astralis applying pressure on both fronts here. Front side, master bedroom balcony, as well as big tower under pressure. J90 does have that secondary hard breach can opener. He can open up the attic wall, unless, of course, there's a mute jammer, then he needs assistance from below.
I like what we're seeing, though, out of these Astralis takes with no dedicated hard breacher. Again, running with a secondary hard breach in the hands of J90. I can't believe Iconic just got that.
Jesus.
He Kobe's in a nade as far as it'll go, and Bosco is no more. The first pick goes to Astralis on what was one hell of a toss.
That is like I mean, if you're standing there to defend anything, I'm safe, this is fine, and then all of a sudden, you're just gone. That's what happens when you got no Wamai and no Jaeger on the board. Those Runic Gauge do not really work in that particular situation, and that's going to be an Astralis in the driver's seat with that opening kill, and that's going to be a very important one because it's smoke of all operators that got taken out, right? Now you've bought yourself 30 seconds extra on the clock as an attacker because those toxic babes are no longer in play to stop you in your tracks or slow you down. Iconic, same thing as last time, just rushed up that white staircase.
And he's one hit away now as Hot and Cold puts it right back and actually denies the entry back in. Hot and Cold swings around as Skies finds SSG's first pick. One for Houghton as well. Iconic has made his way through the top of white stairs, but he's losing his teammates left and right. It's him and DP Fire, just DP Fire left now as Space Station finding a way back into this matchup. That's the top floor. The first two attempts at these bomb sites did not work out well, but unless DP Fire pulls off probably the best clutch of his career, it'll be a 2-2 for SSG. Indeed it is. Rampy makes destiny become reality. And it's a tie game. An unfortunate start for SSG cost them a chance at the major. They're now playing essentially for bragging rights and to stop Astralis from making it themselves.
It does appear like SSG are really trying at this, Like, it seems like they want to try and get the victory and either deny Astralis the satisfaction or just thinking that, you know what, we're going to end this on a W and show that we have indeed improved over the course of this stage. Regardless, SSG in that last round, really good hold. The crossfires, very well established. Every single moment where Astralis was pushing in one direction, there was two members of SSG ready to fight together, and that's why they managed to get back all those kills and put themselves in a great position. Now it's tied up 2-2 as round number 5 starts. Tertiary bomb site is on the table, and of course, it is going to be the meeting variant, not the dining. Normally, this is the case, so nothing out of the ordinary. And we also have the community vote. Who's having a silent ride home tonight? Space Station or Astralis? Jesse pointed out, well, very close, relatively close actually. But if SSG were to win, then both teams might have a silent ride home because then Dark Zero are going to be going to the major.
That is a very good point. Space Station cannot make it themselves, so now they effectively play to end Astralis' opportunity. And there was a part of me that wondered, if SSG cannot get it done, do they care at all about whether it's Astralis or Dark Zero?
Yeah, I had the same question, but given how they're playing right now, either they don't know that they're out, or they just want to end on a victory and take that away from Astralis. Either way, it looks like SSG, they're trying to win.
As should be the case, by the way.
As should be the case.
It sounds silly to say, but that is very true, that it should be the case. Astralis have flirted with that hard breacher-less lineup for so long. Now it's forced to take on the more traditional mantle, as there's no secondary hard breach gadget to be found in the lot of them. DP Fire on the Ying will bring smokes, as will the Twitch of Iconic. Get Iconic off of the Finka, give him to J9O. This is a much more standard style of lineup, I would say. Maybe I spoke too soon, by the way. Disco Dance Party, Candelas go off. Nobody can see a damn thing. Iconic, the very first kill. Rampy down next to Forest. Astralis taking no prisoners whatsoever, but neither is Bosco. Still inside of Attic, but he's trapped right now. There's no way out. That's a great question. I have no clue what's happening either, Nick. Oh, no. Oh, no. Bosco, it happens again! They throw a grenade, and he catches it, maybe not willingly, but it's in his hands either way. That's the whole point of the game of Hot Potato, and Bosco was an unwitting participant. Skies left alive. This has been the story for SSG over the last couple play days. Skies put in a position to get a couple exit kills, but that's it. Right now playing by flag, by split, whatever you'd like to call it, against the 4 players of Astralis with over a minute to go. Skies gets droned out, has to reposition, losing some gadgetry in the process. From stage, he rotates. Those are 2 very good rounds from SSG, but it looks like, well, I mean, it looks like the magic might end, and indeed it does. Hard to control the SMG-11. DP Fire has no problems with his LMG. The Ying gets the final kill, and Astralis goes up 3-2.
3-2 indeed. That was, again, like a very, very well executed round from Astralis. Just the pure aggression and trusting in the teamwork. Just walking in on through, taking Attic control. The Candelas actually did so much value. They're blinding pretty much every single member of SSG, and the timings of those blinds were crazy because when Bosco came from the flank, Well, the moment he got the first kill, he got blinded, had to run back through attic because he couldn't see anything, and that just made his life so much harder. Now we're gonna go back downstairs, and that is of course where SSG, they had a bit more success. See if they can do it one more time. This is the last round for the defending side for SSG, unless of course it goes all the way to overtime. Ideally, Spacestation wants to go 3-3 even split, which given how things started off for Astralis would be a phenomenal way to end the half.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like for a moment that the, you want to say, hopes of Astralis were fading. Spacestation was really fired up on those 2 rounds. But then, as it always happens on a map like Oregon, you go to that 3rd bomb site,
Yep.
and it's not 3 times the charm. Laundry downstairs, dorms above, far easier to hold on to than that meeting defense, and certainly more than we find a lot of teams on dining and kitchen as well. So the final defense for Space Station will go to a bomb site they've already gone to twice, lost once, won once. It's laundry supply down below. EU1D was burned very early by DP Fire. I don't know if the purpose was to try and get an early roam pick. Maybe they saw something they liked on drone, but it isn't successful at all. No damage done to anybody by Space Station.
Sitting tight, waiting, droning out the roam game here, expecting SSG to be creeping around somewhere on the map, but it's a pretty generic basement staircase hold where we're looking for a drone or 2, falling back down the staircase, maybe kill another and fall back to the side. It's a good way to stall time and buy a few, kill a few drones, but you're not really going to have any map control in this regard. That means that SSG, they're preferring the bomb site itself. That's where they want the fight to happen. And if you look at the attack lineup from Astralis, they don't have a Ying, they don't have any smoke grenades. They're actually not in the greatest position to do much in the basement attack itself, besides just purely gunning it out, which, fortunately for Astralis, they're very good at. It's what they've been doing most of the round so far. It's what they're known for, generally speaking, also the Charlotte Major where they got to the Grand Finals. So this shouldn't be a tall task for Astralis, but it's definitely not going to be easy either.
Going with a more traditional lineup again with this hard breacher in play, but the problem is the Electric Claws will be something they have to deal with. Flores is banned out. Thatcher is not, yet Thatcher has not been present for Astralis at all. So they can't really get rid of the Electric Claw as easily as they would have liked. Instead, they will have to go through blue to likely take care of it unless a grenade can be tossed in that direction. Right now, it doesn't seem like anybody's assembled over in that part of the map. Instead, still figuring out what's going on the main floor. Even if you do go towards blue, where now 3 players from Astralis have very quickly moved over to, you got hot and cold as your main impediment, and you can stop some of those X-Kairos from going down. Space Station, the very first kill. Can they add to that tally? Not yet. They certainly can't. Astralis sweeps right through, and just like that, SSG have lost 2 players. Bosco will contend against the Hordes as they rush in towards Elbow, but he's got 1 on his left, he's got 1 on his right. Sky's a second kill with a Nitro Cell. Goes out onto Forest. Fultz from above, sees the Lion, easily dispatches DP Fire. Now it's just down to the anchors on the bomb site for the remaining players from Astralis. 25 seconds left for Shuttle and J9O to get in. Shuttle's in, but he hasn't done much. A beautiful shot on the skies. That's a reward for the 2 kills they had earlier on. Bosco next one up. Gets swung by Shuttle. He's hitting every single target. Suddenly, Astralis have found themselves in a very winnable position. It's Fultz in a 1v2. He's got marks. He can soften them up, but J9O's a better shot. Astralis were in the danger zone, but they pilot their way out of it, and the first half goes to them 4-2.
That is disgusting from his shots. Without those shots, I don't think they win that round, but they were found, multiple of those indeed. And Fultz had a nice flank as well here, had a big impact, but look at this. Shuttle gets 1, then he found a second, just leaving Fultz last man standing, had to come back to side after getting that flank inside a meeting room. And it almost as if the meeting hatch was open, and Fultz's flank had more impact, but at the same time, the reason for all the things that happened was because it was the hatch was kited, and the attackers did indeed not manage to break it open. And that's going to mean that SSG needs to show up massive on their attack in half, because a 2-4 scoreline is not a great position to be in. Now, SSG target banned the Sophia, the target banned the Wamai. This, I don't believe, is going to impact SSG themselves much at all. They are bringing the Maverick right now in skies. That's going to give you 2 grenades, and you can deal with the kite claws if a kite is being brought. Whereas if you play the Thatcher, sure, it's faster, more efficient, if you will, but you only really get the EMPs in terms of utility, which means that you do miss out on those 2 grenades, which SSG, they like to nades from below, they like using nades in general. I think this is a wise choice for them. It is peculiar to me that they go from Jackal to Ace last second from Fultz, because now you bring in triple Heart Breach for a basement attack with a heavy roam presence from Astralis, which we should know, especially with the drone phase and attacker repick, that they're doing. Jackal here would have been very, very good, but let's see what they can do about it regardless.
Zazami roam that has become very common on Oregon will present itself from Astralis. Again, use those Kibas to give yourself mobile cover over inside of Dining Hall. Easily thrown out.
Good night.
What an incredible shot by J90 that was. Fultz didn't even see it coming. All the while, Fultz was still able to get those Selmas off, so some value from his death.
Jesus. That's a montage shot right there. Look at this one-way angle as well.
And another.
Breach. Oh, days. J90, you beautiful man.
Rampy will give some credit towards that, as Astralis are starting off this defense very effectively. 2 picks and on to arguably the 2 hottest players from Spacestation. Not in terms of looks, in terms of ability, Rampy and Fultz. I make like no judgment.
No judgment
on their physical appearance.
They're all sexy though, if you ask me.
All right. I go back to that super tweet. Why does every member of Space Station look the same but in a different font? I think that's very funny. Either way, get maybe more jokes from Super as he's qualified for Berlin. Yeah. Astralis are a couple rounds away. They must win, so simply getting to 6 rounds for Astralis is not going to get it done. They need to seal the deal either in regulation or overtime. Space Station only really had those 2 good rounds in the middle of the first half. After that, they've gone back to their old, somewhat inconsistent style of play, I think you could call it.
Yeah, I would say so. All depends as well, because like, I feel like playstyle nowadays also depends on matchup. Like if you play like a very passive team, then you can't necessarily do what you normally do, vice versa with aggression. So I think a big skill right now in Rainbow Six Siege at this level of play is being able to adapt your own playstyle slightly to your opponent's playstyles that you match well against. Because if you play really unstructured and lose against a very structured team, you might get caught off guard with crossfires and whatnot. So slight variation in gameplay is necessary, of course, but the baseline has to be solid. 40 seconds left, 3v5, SSG. They really need this round, but they're not in a great spot to get it.
Consolidated inside of the bomb site. All 5 players still upright. Space Station's advance looking like it'll come towards Freezer, but J90 is there, ready to defend it, defend his team's honor. Not for longer, and certainly not for more, as a grenade from Skies will flush him out. Explosives getting tossed on in, that'll be the Banshee taken out as well, so Forrest will send out a toxic gas canister to slow that advance. Through the smoke that he himself had created, down goes Hot and Cold. Skies dealt with inside of Freezer, a chilling end with Forrest, pulling out the shotgun, and a do-si-do gets 2 kills for Astralis to give them their very first round on defense.
That entire round, like every kill that happened was so satisfying because you had the 1-tap from J90 into the 1-way from J90, and that triple kill right there from Forrest as well. Extremely satisfying 5 kills from Astralis, I would say. Very nice. And that now means that SSG, like, now it's getting tough. Now it's round 8, we're down 2-5. Of course, things can always turn around. We gotta take the Kid Storm's bomb site next. And we need this right here to go our way. Once you stare down the barrel that is match point, that's when life gets really tricky. No more room for mistakes, not once, not ever. And Astralis being a clutch team, knowing that they can do what they do and they're desperately needed to do it, that's not where you want to be. And it's ironic because Space Station used to be arguably the most clutch team in the world, at the very least in North America. But this stage, it hasn't really been their story. It's been Astralis kind of taken away from them in Stage 1 and Stage 2, and at the Charlotte Major. They're the team to clutch it up, do the impossible time and time again.
We'll sleep on Astralis because it has been such a close stage for every single North American team. And frankly, I don't even know who the favorites from NA would be going into this major. I think it's safe to say that based on what we've witnessed from all of the regions, North America is probably still the favorite. But I do look at LATAM as very close to being even. LATAM has had its own upheaval, too. Yes. A lot of the favorites are not going to make it. Liquid, for example, will not be present at the major. They did not qualify for CES. They're not going to have a fighting shot.
Nope.
there's been a lot of changes. Black Dragons and W7M, who are still newer teams, will be the ones fighting for it. It is a shame that we weren't able to see the potential from W7M at Charlotte, but as far as I'm aware, unless visa troubles befall them again, they'll be present in Berlin, providing they qualify, of course, because they have not yet. And
they have not?
No, I mean, they're going to CES, but they got to win their way.
I thought they were qualified, actually.
No LATAM teams are qualified. They're qualified for CES.
Okay.
They are not qualified for Berlin.
And then CES qualifies you for the thing.
Yes,
Okay.
that's correct.
I see.
The Copa Elite 6,
Yes.
CES, as people know. Either way, that's about LATAM. Right now, Astralis are 2 rounds away from making it to Berlin. That will solidify the 4 teams from North America. It's been hot play from a lot of individual players. No real poor performances from Astralis in their respective roles so far. Great game from J90, I think, is what's been propelling Astralis forwards after Iconic had those first 2 great rounds.
Well, you're right. Shots are taking turns, having their great moments, and it's a decent round so far. So on round 8, time is really slipping away from SSG. They just got that attic breach open up. Bosco working on the master bedroom side as well. So it's a multi-pressure attack from Spacestation, hitting both sides at once here. That means the Astralis, they gotta figure out which guns are gonna go in which directions. And with all these soft ones out of attic, J90's position in particular can be very hard to play correctly. Now he does have 2 keeper barriers in his pocket. He can deny line of sight, and that's gonna help in the situation. But other than that, look at his crossfire. Nice damage from Shuttle. It doesn't do a whole lot of those fingers on the board, but 45 seconds left to go. SSG clocks against you.
You just have to have good coordination from Shuttle. That's the big thing, and he's just a bit too hesitant on where to engage. Bosco makes quick work of him. First kill for Space Station. Things will heat up with the 30 seconds left on the clock right now. J90 in a bad spot. He pops up to take the engagement towards Trophy. He dies. So instead, engaging onto the Maverick, and J90 in attic finds 2 kills. Another could be lined up. And there it is, a 3rd for him. A 4th towards the armory door, but he loses out. Clock strikes midnight on that Cinderella story. It's Fultz now in a 1v2. Match point from Astralis to be had from Iconic. 2 kills for the King. Suddenly, 1 round away for Berlin for Astralis.
J90, disgusting now. 2 rounds in a row, just takes his team on his back and just carries them and threw it in the gutter. And I mean, he was feeling himself. You know that 3rd kill, lost that gunfight, but look at this. The 180-degree flake, gets it, hops on the ground, gets the 3rd kill afterwards. Then, of course, lost the 4th engagement, but still, what a nice save. And I said it in that round. Astralis so clutch right now, has been so clutch since they kind of reshaped their performance in their roster. And they're looking at like they're in a very good position for the major. 1 round away now. As we're at 2-6 match point, territory bomb side, and this is the big difference maker. It's not going to be meeting kitchen like we've seen all throughout today, basically. It's going to be that kitchen dining bomb side, which really struggles against the likes of Ibana, which Bosco right now is showing. Sure, Iconic got the mirror, you can do some stuff with that. But the Ibana is going to make the small tower tag much more accessible. Fultz is a tanker repeaking onto glass, and it's very important to note because that's going to be their execution-based operator. The reason why glass is so important, because the entirety of the A bomb site that you see right now is very open. You can't really plant anywhere safely, but with the glass and with the OSA, you're giving yourself 2 different opportunities to plant inside the A bomb site if you want to, and you can still even go for a B bomb site attack by taking medium control and breaching the walls. However, look at the spawn position, it's probably going to be a small tower attack. So J90, all eyes on you, my friend. You're extending up into small tower. You have no real support. You've done it 2 rounds in a row, getting multiple kills in a crucial position. This is your 3rd time to do it. You are in a crucial position. Everyone's gunning for you. All 5 members are going to try and get you down.
Oh, you said it right. All these eyes are going to be on him. And I mean, the MX Storm can be a little bit tough to control, as you see with those 2 drones that skirt by. In this do or die position. No way out. We talk about playing to die, and that has never been more evident, as it looks like a nade is going to be primed and ready with J90's name on it, but he takes the engagement either way. Down goes the shield. 10 kills to his name. Droned out yet again. Still trapped, but he's wasted a minute of SSG's time. SSG cannot afford to let it go, and Bosco jumps in. J90 stops him. Another one will follow up. Same position. Cannot win it. DP Fire 1 as Rampy trades it out. SSG still at a disadvantage, though. And the other thing, too, is that Space Station have not flushed out these players who are not too far off of that dining kitchen bomb site. Still set up inside a small tower. This is where SSG can settle in with half of the round to go.
They lost the Glass and the Hibana, actually like two of the most important operators. Of course, O's is still on the board, so that is very good for SSG. That's going to be the big win condition. 2 smoke grenades, and of course the O's shields at 9 lines of sight. You can essentially walk in here, try and get the plant down. The thing is, DB Fire has 2 impact grenades. Forest has 3 toxic babes. That is more than the defenders need to deal with these Osa shields and the smoke grenades. So as long as DB Fire is in a position, and of course staying alive to utilize impact grenades, they should be in a good spot to deal with this piece of utility.
A little bit of damage done to Iconic and DP Fire, but other than that, they can sit quite pretty. One Adrenal Surge for Rampy will get him back to full HP as he'd taken some damage earlier on. That's a good 40 seconds that have now been burned, and Space Station will herald their entry, but Rampy finds another door awaiting him. Fires away, Iconic answers it. Astralis are 2 kills away. That's all they need to find. Space Station had that good burst in the middle of round number 2, or round number 3 and 4, the first half. But other than that, it's been all Astralis. They've been all business. And they have 30 seconds to wait it out. That's it. Space Station waiting patiently. Astralis getting a little restless. Forest peaks. A kill from Skies comes in. 3 more to be found. He also sets up a shield. Skies working in a bathroom. He's found his way, an opening. Did he do more damage right now as the Azami is there? Out-dueling DP Fire is not a possibility, so instead it's Hot and Cold, the newest pickup, and he's no more. One of the newest pickups can't do it. Iconic seals the deal. 2 good rounds from Space Station is all they get. It's a Berlin trip for Astralis. That means DZ doesn't go, Nick. Astralis, Sonics, Xset, OXG, the 4